Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another cast of Major League Mech Warrior. I am joined today by Ed Meister. How's it going, man?
Good, homeless Bill. How are you doing today?
Pretty well. Only had to work a half day, so that's always nice.
Yes, it's Friday.
Friday. Well, I guess I don't see Mango in lobby yet. Vonka is in lobby, so hopefully we'll have a couple minutes to get adjusted here. I am just busy changing the stream title. So, predictions, what do you think?
It's good. To be honest with you, I think Seraphim has an edge in terms of being like a dark horse. Not many people know too much about their tactics, but I still give the edge to Antares Scorpions. They have a couple tricks up their sleeves, and they're not afraid to use them. Plus, they're higher seeded. That's always easy to to predict. So,
You know,
I'm
that
going
is
with
the
Antares
prediction
Scorpions.
that Siri made last night. Elo never lies, but thankfully QQ pulled off the upset. Another huge shout out to J-Man with the lerms.
Oh man,
I know, wasn't that disgusting?
how much did he do? That the one game was like
850.
My God, dude.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just, oh, I
This
felt
should
so
be
bad.
this should be a lesson to all of you out there using learn boats. You got to take those down. Take them down. Limit
Yeah,
them somehow.
can't ignore it. I mean, that was the right way to run lerms, but um you know, I've heard a lot of split opinions. I've heard, Siri Army of One, some other people say that they think Seraphim's going to take it, that they've been really putting in the work and that they're going to pull this off pretty handily, it sounds like. So, I don't know. It could go either way. I have no clue what to expect out of this. I really haven't seen Seraphim play a whole lot other than playing against QQ, which was a little bit disorganized on our part, but they've done well on Antares Scorpions, quite aggressive. So it looks like they are about to jump into lobby, so I assume we'll be dropping in like 5 minutes here.
Good thing to note. There's 26 of you out there watching. Hopefully, you can get more people watching. Go ahead and just say, "Hey, homeless Bill's switching right now." Just link them www.twitch.tv/homeless_Bill. Tell them that this is the semifinals for the elimination bracket, and we're getting close to the championships over here in Major League Mech Warrior. I'm pretty sure all the casting has gone up in quality, gone up in production look, and everything. So,
And gone down in radio moments. I would just like to
yes,
say that I'm getting better. Army of One had a little oversight last night, but you know what? We're learning. It's okay. We're going to get through it together. I've got the roster for Antares Scorpions up here. Mango is going to be their captain. I believe he's also their drop commander. They've just got a lot of good players, a lot of names I recognize from a long time ago. Psyches, fun fact, they actually have a color in-game named after him. If you've, ever bought the color Psyches or looked at it, that really bright pink, purple, whatever the hell it is. It's because they got the color name wrong, and he was like, no, that's not right. That's the name of a different color. And guy was like, hey, I guess you're right. I'm just going to name it after you. So that was pretty cool. And man, I had one round with him back in the day where we dropped 5 against 8 and we steamrolled him 8-0.
nice.
I felt so bad, but that was one of my better moments in this entire game. So lots of good players that have been around forever on AS's team. Don't know a lot of the Seraphim guys, however.
Yeah, they're a relatively new team and up and coming. I think they have really great sound strategy. They just have to work on a few things like maybe aim or concentrating firepower, but they have the basics down. I mean, in terms of movement, they like keeping their working together and creating firing lines and stuff. But they just need small little things here and there, and they'll pretty. If they keep at it, they keep practicing. They keep setting up scrims versus teams that are on their level or up above them. They'll probably get up there relatively quickly.
I absolutely agree. And I've got word from Wonka. I want to say Wonka. Like, he just couldn't get the W, couldn't afford the W, so he just took 2 Vs. I'm going to start calling him Wonka. And He just informed me they will be dropping in just a few seconds here, so get ready for round one. This is going to be Conquest. 3 lights, 3 mediums, 3 heavies, and 3 assaults on Tourmaline Desert.
It's German Wonka. It's Wonka. Wonka.
Bonka!
Wonka.
I'm good with that. Really quick here, I'm gonna check that map tactics is actually working while we wait for them to drop. Sure looks like it, so we're good to go.
Arda is screaming, overlay, overlay, overlay. I don't know if you'll make the same mistake again, Bill. Maybe you should do it one time. Just like have the best game and just have the overlay up.
Yeah, I was
What's going on?
I was thinking about it. I'm thinking about just picking a random game, maybe in the finals, just going total radio.
Game 5 of the finals.
Oh, that would be such a dick move. Wow. I'm the only one who got to see that game.
Oh my god, I've never seen such a spectacular mech war ever in my life. It is a once in a lifetime experience, but I didn't. Oh man, I left the overlay up.
Yeah. There have actually been a couple of rounds where they were good rounds, and I am sad for leaving the overlay up.
Don't worry, at least you made the mistake earlier, not later, because that would be bad. Game 5 on the finals.
It's like Calf thinks Antares is gonna win. I'm cheering for AS. It's just I know a lot of those guys, so I'm in the tank for them. I'm a total shill, but hey, what else is new?
I agree with Siri in most parts that Elo doesn't lie, but there's also some times where you get the combined Elo of the team, and that's how they ranked it. But in a 12-man drop, you don't combine all the Elos together. You have the top or the 12 that you choose to drop in that particular point in time. And they don't take into effect that sometimes you don't practice in the public queue enough, so you really don't get that higher Elo that you require. So people like QQ Mercs, I know kind of like dropped a lot the night before. I saw them in queue, got beat down by them a little bit. But yeah. Sometimes
it definitely depends on your queue habits. I mean, since I have like the big, all of the fun information, it's like, top 15 I think was definitely a good way to seed this. And viewers, no, we're not just spacing out. They're still in lobby. I guess everyone was very optimistic when they said they'd be dropping any second. But yeah, it depends on your queue habits. It depends how much you like drop trash. Like in QQ, I feel like kilos are across the board probably about 100 lower than they would be if we cared, just because of the mechs we run. So many, spiders and urban mechs and, awesomes and gargoyles. You say that, but J-Man is a beast, no matter which queue he's in, and I believe they have dropped, so we're going to go ahead and get in on Wonka right now.
Here we go.
Alright, so it looks like we're going to have AS over here in blue. Their drop deck is Stalkers, Hellbringers, Stormcrows, Ravens, Timberwolves. Like kind of an interesting spread. Looks like they're probably pretty pokey. And then
Seraphim opted for the 3 Direwolves, some Wolverines, Hellbringers slash Timberwolf, and Fire Starters. So it looks like they went with a more traditional and started to stack the weight instead of leaving 15 tons on the deck, because you can carry 3 assaults. It doesn't matter what tonnage. So that extra 15 tons of armor might make a difference. But the Stalker 4Ns have nice firepower at the range they're about engaging at right now.
And you see that this spot, this Fox 4 kind of, you know, open plateau where a lot of the action has happened all week on this map is happening again. They're set up there with their dire wolves. They're just peeking, and it looks like AS is back down. I don't see them peeking anymore. They're just waiting. I'm going to check in on Mango.
Yeah, the dire wolf spawned in the right position. It's an Echo 4. Siri likes to call this a sniper spot, and I remember him casting this a long time ago. He says, that is such a great angle. You have a nice overview of that little Delta 5 corner right there, and it's tough to peek to go against that Echo 4. You have such a high vantage point. You have great angles. I mean, you could go extra wide, but at this point, it looks like Seraphim did.
Wonk has opened up. I feel like AS is definitely getting the better end of these trades because of those stalkers. Great peeking mechs. They really have the ability to hill hump and not take a ton of damage, and they spread damage incredibly well. Whereas a 70% direwolf could be very damaged, not so much with a stalker. It can tank a lot. Oh, that's going to be a nice strike. Oh.
Got shielded a little bit by that Spire. Oh, you're talking about the other strike.
Yeah, it was over here on Seraphim. And it looks like mechs really opened up here. We've got a Timberwolf crit. We've got Direwolf opened up all components. Hellbringer open on the left side. Another Direwolf opened up CT, but then again, over here on AS, we've got a Hellbringer. Half a Hellbringer, that's not too bad, I guess. Towards CT Stalker. Don't see that very often. Good aim. And Mango also CT Cord and a Stalker. Really nice job aiming.
Avatar What's going down pretty quick right now. Oh, he
So
lost.
lots of... Oh man, the fire starters over here. The fire starters are sort of putting pressure and engaging the Ravens, but I think one of them's legged. I think, yeah. He is legged here.
He's going down pretty quick. Those Raven 2Xs are coming up against him. Oh, he's just going to edge. His fire starters need to come help him.
Yeah, the other fire starters are trying to protect him from below, but I don't know if they're going to do it.
He goes down.
He does.
Not in time.
And it looks like they're charging up Vorpal Sword and that Direwolf crossing. It looks like... Are they a few down? Yeah, they've lost quite a few now. A couple of those Direwolves went down. So it looks like it is going in AS's favor.
I think what Seraphim tried doing is what SGR did in the match last night. Was it last night? Or
Yes.
a couple of nights ago?
Yeah, it was
the
last
match with SGR. They basically tried to use their fire starters to kind of create a diversion on the side, and then it collapsed. But there just wasn't enough trading firepower for Seraphim to move forward.
And so it's just down to these two Wolverines. Merc still sitting way out there, but it goes very convincingly AS's way.
It looked kind of like a stalemate, but like you said in the beginning, they were just kind of like firing away at them and just doing those nice pokes over that little ridge. And since the Stalker has those high mounts, they're able to just poke and go back pretty quickly. Although the Direwolves should have had the advantage at that point.
I mean, to an extent, but I think they weren't quite getting the shots they wanted to get. I think the Stormcrows were putting out a lot of good damage, you know, and being a little bit trickier to hit for the Direwolves. And the big problem I see is that AS had these Ravens that were doing a fairly good job of poking and being annoying at various points, hitting different angles. The fire starters, they needed to do what SJR did the other night in the first two matches, which was put them behind them aggressively and start pushing and then ball up your main force and go in once everybody's distracted. They really slow played it, and I don't honestly even know how that one got legged by sort of a lone Raven. You just can't let that happen as a light, and you really got to put more pressure on. You see those fire starters down at the bottom of the damage totem pole. Otherwise the damage numbers are pretty even. You look at it and it doesn't look like a terrible losing round for Seraphim, but obviously the kills went way in AS's favor, and part of that I do think is just due to the Stalker's tankiness and the ability to ridge hump like no other.
Well, so far my prediction's right.
I am good with this. Again, sorry Seraphim, but I'm in the tank for AS. I am. Just like I was in for QQ last night. Gotta cheer for my team.
Well, just like I was saying earlier, they had the right idea. Seraphim has the right idea. They had that nice vantage sniper spot in Echo 4 looking down over to the Delta 5 corner. They just didn't trade well enough. I mean, with Direwolves, you should be able to trade with Gauss versus the 6 large lasers more so. Plus, you have the armor advantage by 15 tons. But like I said, I guess it's more of a cohesion type thing. The fire starters kind of like overcommitted or undercommitted at some point. Only one of them kind of overcommitted and then got leg doing it. Then the other fire starters, I guess, had to come up. And then since he was leg, I guess they decided to charge. And there was really no threat from the fire starters, so the charge ended up pretty bad. But, I mean, nice try.
I'm looking at it on the stream right now, and when you look at the way Seraphim tried to take it, it's like they tried to peek around the corner. They didn't own that plateau very well. You see a lot of them. They're shifting in and out. They're behind each other. They can't all shoot at once. They don't control that firing lane. They're peeking, and you can't peek like that. Like, if you're going to take that spot, you really have to own it. Yeah, I'm watching on the stream right now, and they're really, sort of peeking out left around that corner. You can't peek in Direwolves. You have to just sit there. You have to stand. Whatever peeks out at you has to go down. You can't be the one, sort of bobbing in and out. You just have to make them too scared to look up. So I definitely think that they could have controlled that plateau better.
Yeah, definitely. But, like I said, they have the right idea. They just need to work at it. Probably train a little bit more in it, finding out which type of, when to poke out, how the Timberwolves and Hellbringers should support them. And, to be honest with you, if they changed up the deck a little bit, if they made a little bit longer range instead of fire starters, they might have had a better chance with that strategy. Although maybe the push section might be a little weaker, but they would have had a better trading ability. So I think if they spotted some of their fire starters to Raven 2Xs or even 4Xs, they could have gone up in Delta 3, being able to poke a little bit extra on that Delta 5 corner, which will allow the Direwolves to create that firing line and push, and then they might have done it. There's a ton of different ways you could do it, but that's how a longer range push would have done it.
Yeah, I just brought map tactics up here, and I've drawn AS's position in red. You've seen that all week. That is the defensive position because the offensive position seems to be taking that Echo 4 plateau. In this case, again, you see where I put this blob, and it's really hugging the ridge here, and because that's what they did, whereas SJR and Imperial, when they did it, they stand right here. They take the, well, I'm gonna draw that in a different color, but they take this ridge. There's no escape. They have this line covered, so it just seemed like they were afraid, and especially after a couple of those Direwolves got cored out early, they backed off when they really needed to, I guess, either get aggressive or think of something else. So now we move on to Skirmish, 720 tons. Perhaps we'll see a more uniform drop deck with more speed instead of Direwolves, but I have seen people putting Direwolves and Stalkers in their decks. 228th was all Ravens and Stalkers against Imperial. So that was an interesting deck. I like that.
I'm trying to Get a trivia question here. I know they're waiting for it.
Yeah, match just got over, so it's probably a good time. Shout out to NGNG. Thank you for hosting us. And of course, things don't get any easier for the winner of this match. They will go on to face Clan Smoke Jaguar, who was just defeated by Steel Jaguar last night. I'm sure they will be looking to get back on the horse, and no matter who wins this, that's going to be definitely a really tough match. Also got 228th Black Watch versus QQ Mercenary Corporation next week. That's going to be another good one. Sorry, Ed, but I hope QQ wins.
Okay.
Week 8 is where things really start to get real. That's going to be Imperial versus SJR, and in the elimination bracket, that's going to be the winner of those next two matches. So no matter what, those are going to be some real scary matches to watch. Oh man, that means we don't have a lot of matches left, and we probably have way too many mech bays.
Who gets this? I already typed it.
Not that, just in general. Whatever. The last couple of finals matches, we'll just give it away like candy. I'll find somebody that can help out on stream.
Ooh, we finally got someone after about a minute. Onimusha Shin is the only person that still answered it correctly, and he gets that free mech bay. Congratulations.
Whoa, what was this question?
Question was, what was the full name of the pilot hired by the Somerset Strikers that piloted the Hadamoto Chi and the Awesome?
Damn.
Onimusha Shin. Yeah, he's the only one that has it so far. No one else decided to try. They're like, fuck it, I don't care.
See, I like you because you actually do trivia, and you have good trivia. You have trivia that is findable, but wow, that's obscure.
It's very obscure. I was just inspired by the Battletech cartoon. Those of you who do not know what the Somerset Strikers are, you should watch the Battletech animated series.
You know, also, shout out to Soy. Soy makes some quality videos. Let me try to find his YouTube channel. I need to find this, because he does, like, great mashups and stupid videos of, like, the Battletech cartoon and play. He's a hell of a good player. Been around forever, too. How the hell am I going to find this? It's going to have to be on Outreach. Oh, it'll be in that cheating thread. That's where I can find him.
They're still in lobby.
Yep, still in lobby. We're not just spacing out indefinitely. Okay, Soy. Okay, we found his Reddit account. Now I just need to find his YouTube channel by clicking on one of his videos. You know what? I'm just gonna link you guys to... There we go. This is great. Five minutes ago, I linked Soy's awesome, weird, whatever the hell it is, Battletech cartoon mashup. And he's got a bunch of other good videos. He was the guy who sort of blew the lid off of the hacking crap and brought it to the forefront with that video, so shout out to him. He made a huge moderation nightmare for me, but it was all worth it. So yeah.
So what do you think Ace and Seraph are going to take over in the next round? Because I know it's 720. It's not Conquest.
Honestly, I want to say it depends on what side of the map they'll get, because as you may have seen in Imperial's match earlier in the week, they just turtled in Golf 6, and that is a really pretty strong position. We're drawing that in purple now. That is where they sat, and it was a really hard nut to crack. There's pretty much only one realistic approach. Like, the canyon is just, no, it's just don't go there. It's only sadness. You never want to be in this canyon. It's awful. So you pretty much have to go up above, and getting there, setting up takes forever. If they really wanted to, they could exit out the back. It's just, man.
You know, I was in that match, and I can tell you that was a great position to defend. But one thing that people underestimate, especially in a large map like this, is the time. It's only 10 minutes. A lot of people are used to the 15-minute
15,
mark.
yeah.
So we're looking at a timer and going, wait, you know what? I think we should accelerate what we were planning to do. We're kind of like
They
getting
are
scrunched on
in-game.
time. Okay, let's do it.
And yeah, I definitely thought that was something that happened. You guys looked at the clock and were like, oh shit, time went fast. Hellbringers, a Timberwolf, a couple of fire starters. So lots of Hellbringers from Seraphim. And sure enough, they're going really pokey, and they're going to set up a defensive position. AS with a lot of Stalkers, Ravens, Timberwolf. Look at where these Stalkers are setting up. This is interesting. You never see this portion of the map used at all, and they're just going to try to turtle up somewhere. Wow.
Hope J-Man's not watching. He'll be having nightmares of this. Look at that ECM all over the place.
You say that, but J-Man tags his own targets, and it doesn't matter. You saw, I mean, the first guy he got was that ECM Hellbringer that came out on the plateau, and he just said, no. Let me talk to you about something. So, Seraphim being aggressive here. They're moving up the left side. I don't think they know what's coming. They're all trading over on the right because they see all those Ravens over there. They are not going to be prepared for these Stalkers on the left. However, if they push up into them hard enough, maybe they'll get them. So
that's exactly what AS wants right now. Look at them funnel right into that crossfire.
Yep. Oh, and here we go. Wonka just like, oh no, and they're all backing off like, oh boy, is this gonna work out? They don't know. This is a horrible place to be for them, and they know it. And so they're going for it. They've got to go for it. They've committed. They're taking damage already. Wonka down to 72%. Let's get in on. Oh, Bowser, good strikes back there. Hit the Skers hard.
I like this push. They figured out that they were in a crossfire, so they had to take one section out. And taking out all the heavy effects is probably their best bet at this point, because that's all the heavy firepower. And
AS going legs. One Hellbringer, the drop commander almost down. 2 down, so the first 2 kills go for Antares Scorpions. And that push is really getting just demolished. They're really spread out at this point. Seraphim did get a kill. And pulling out, you can see that their position is pretty much overrun. Bowser and Aractus about to go down. Xerex and that Stalker over there about to go down. Oven Root in the Timberwolf. He's fresh, but he'll be focused down very quickly. He's in the middle of them. So this is actually going to be a really close fight. Now that all the tonnage is out of the fight, it's going to be up to those Ravens to kite this just hard enough. But those fire starters are totally fresh for Seraphim.
You know, while Seraphim has more people up, they'll have the Ravens. They can run around all day.
And they're going to have to, because those fire starters are going to chase them down. If they don't get Seraphim spread out, they're going to get messed up. So we're going to see if they pull back quickly enough.
Yeah, I don't like the spot for the Ravens though.
I don't either.
They need to back up somewhere.
They're splitting. Great plan. They're splitting up. They're not making it easy. They're going to kite and provide each other with fire support. That fire starter over here. Oh, it's legged. It is legged. So that is one threat nullified. Valkyrie coming in his fire starter. And if he comes in alone, oh, he's getting chewed up. They know what the threat is.
Arnold and Mango off to the side, trying to snatch the back of these fire starters first.
Yep, and one fire starter down in the tunnel here. Other fire starter moving in. The rest of the force is moving in. They might catch Gamer and his Raven 2X here. Raven's doing a great job of kiting so far. Arnold and Mango almost full health. You know, oh, the leg pops on Valkyrie, so he's going to go down. Their last chances slowly fading. Those fire starters should have stuck together. It was not a good idea to split up like that.
Yeah, look at those percentages on the Ravens, except for one of them. He's at 44, but everything else is like over 80%.
Gamer goes down, but there's only one fire starter left. No, two fire starters left. One's legged. One's probably about legged. One Timberwolf is legged. I just don't see Seraphim having enough speed to recover here if AS plays it smart, and I believe they will. Mango might get jumped here, though.
Rate 7 in favor of AS, but there's still some tonnage quite left. Those 2Xs don't have
that Hellbringer's legged. Mad Edge is immobilized. There's only two mobile mechs left, and one just got legged. AS doing a great job knowing what they needed to focus fire in this match. You don't need to kill them, you just need to leg them, and that is exactly what they've been doing. Even the Stalkers doing a great job focusing legs, and it really paid off in spades for them. They lost all of their heavy stuff, and all of their Kite Ravens carried the day.
This is very close, very similar to the build that we brought, or rather the deck that we brought. We brought, I think, all Stalkers and all Ravens, but they kind of modified that. Took a Timberwolf for a little bit extra, I guess, I don't know, tonnage, security. Maybe they didn't have the tonnage, I don't know. But either way, looks like that prevailed. All the 2Xs, even if the heavy stuff got ran over, all the 2Xs did was just pull back, kept their range, kited the stuff, legged the stuff, and Seraphim just couldn't finish.
And look at those low damage numbers from AS. Across the board, very uniform, but relatively low when you look at Seraphim. You know, when you look at the damage numbers, it looks like they have won. You know, you get that 1-0 damage Timberwolf, but otherwise they generally carried more across the board, and it was just because AS took nothing but legs. It worked out great for them. It allowed those Ravens to kite like no other. You know, towards the end when they could have been, you know, in serious trouble, there were enough weak legs that they could just pop things. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger pulling off 6 of those finishes.
You know, another thing to think about too when you carry into, or when you go into a tonnage limited drop, is you got to think which mechs are good for the tonnage. Now, Stalkers are very good, not only because they do good damage, but they tank a lot, like you said in the first game. So adding just tons of those Stalkers is a great idea. They absorbed a lot of damage. They kept them, they stayed alive long enough to still have enough concentrated firepower to either leg or pull Seraphim into the spot where they wanted. And then all they needed was the Ravens to just finish it off.
Yeah, it was a great call by AS, and honestly, I really liked your drop deck when you did it earlier in the week. I just thought it basically worked better as a really great defensive drop deck when you're forced to sort of push in and they can control, you know, the range and the lane of the engagement. It becomes a little bit harder, but this is exactly how this should have been executed. Interesting and great place to put those Stalkers. They put them so far back up against that wall that Seraphim really had to wander all over the place into one of the weirdest, most death places on the map, and then walk all the way back to get to the Ravens, which just sat at the middle the whole time. I mean, you know, as much as all the assaults went down, I don't think this could have played out any more exactly as AS planned.
Well, I think their primary plan was to drop straight right at the Echo 4 sniping area. They wanted to drop them there. I mean, they already had a great firing line. At that point, any non-competitive team would probably just sat there and just died. But luckily, Seraphim had a little bit of a plan where if we get stuck here, we know we're going to die. We're going to have to push in one way or the other. If they probably pushed toward the lights would just kite them and they still would be in the same position with a crossfire. So it was a good move to push the heavies, but unfortunately they didn't get the heavies down quick enough in order to outnumber the Ravens. There was just too much damage going through, and then they just eventually, death by 1,000 needles or whatever you want to call it.
Definitely. I mean, Seraphim did about as well as they could have done responding to it, because it's like once they crested Echo 4, I've got it up on map tactics right now. I'm going ahead and draw it. The Ravens sat over on stage and around stage, trading, and initially just especially to get Seraphim looking at them. In the meantime, Stalkers sat up in a position you pretty much... I don't think I've ever seen it used. Sitting up at this weird... behind the rock thing over there. Seraphim came up en masse, and they got to here, they're looking over here. They're seeing the Ravens, they're trading with the Ravens, they're shooting the Ravens. They come up here, and oh my god, they're getting shot from both sides. And at this point, it was like a lot of them had already taken 10, 20% damage. And, what are you going to do? Back down? There's nowhere to go. You're going to have to go to them. It's skirmish. The burden is on you to push. So they did a good job. They did what they had to do. They went all the way around, pushed into those Stalkers, overwhelmed them, did a great job, took down the Timberwolves as well. But at that point, the Ravens had set up, and they did a great job kiting. They split. 2 of them went over here. The others went over here. They split. 2 of them went over here. A couple of them went over here. It was great kite Raven play. Great strategy by AS on that one. I don't know that Seraphim could have really done a whole lot about it. That's an incredible defensive strategy.
The best thing I would have done on Seraphim's end, I would have felt, or rather sent out scouts, had to get a feel of what they're trying to do. AS knew that they were ahead in the win column. They knew they had to lure them in. They were going to play defensive. But the question is, how were they going to play defensive?
Are you telling me that people should scout more? Is that what you keep saying?
No. They should just rush in and just blast everything. And
just do it live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, but
yeah. You always seem to
though,
come to that because it's right. If you don't scout, you don't know what you're going into, and they had the fire starters. So how did it happen? How did the main column get caught in an ambush like that?
What Seraphim did, they just grouped up, went to the Echo 4, and then they decided to just rush together, which is decent. It's just, especially in a map like this, where you can use a lot of long range, or it's a combination of ranges. I mean, you can get caught into traps like this. As the chat was saying, it's a trap! Harp!
Yeah, scouts... I feel like they just got a little lazy on that one, because it's like, who would expect Stalkers up there? That's what it comes down to, is I feel like they got lazy and they had their lights were off doing something else. And no light was going to check that corner there. Nobody even thought to check that corner. You saw, Wonka had to get shot twice before he was like, wait, what? Am I getting shot from... So, there you go. Just another lesson in why it's important.
One big surprise is... I believe they should have switched sides. I think Seraphim would have had a little bit better advantage switching sides on this rather than trying to stay on that side. The only good spot on that side is that Echo 4 area. If you have a plan for it like they did, then it's shut off and you have to make a play for near the ground above Theta. It's not above Theta in non-conquest mode, but I was just wanted to point that out. Around Delta 5, those little ramparts. Anyway, I would try something different. Switch it up. Instead of always playing from that side, switch up to the other side. Try a different strategy. They did. It was a similar strategy. They just grouped up, and then they had different mechs, but it was almost the same strategy in the beginning. AS knows how to get that strategy and probably has researched 2 or 3 different ways to try to counter that strategy. So that's exactly what they did.
It was a good call. However, I do think that part of the reason might have just been to prevent that G6 camp like you saw from EMP. It's almost like yin and yang in terms of defensive positioning, because you know, the defense over by, well, what this map calls Kappa over here by, you know, the Delta 3 where the Stalker's set up. It's like a really long range, built for kiting, built for ERs, built for a long range standoff because there's no obstructed approach. You know, you can attack the stage from multiple angles, but and then Golf 6 is like the opposite of that. There's like one way to come in the front, and it's really not that long range. It's a pretty close ridge. I do think they're dropped in game.
Okay, I would still rather try to crack Golf 6 rather than Delta 3 though. That's my personal preference.
I'll give you that after seeing this in action. I don't know how you could you know, really have much of a chance against it. It doesn't seem to lend itself well to cracking.
I really want Seraphim to take one of these games, though. I want this to go 5.
I do too. Now I'm cheering for Seraphim. I know I'm a real slut, but I always want to see these go to 5.
AS has taken 2 4Xs this time, going a little bit extra long, and they took direwolves instead of. Looks like they're paused.
Yeah, and that's Seraphim over there. AS is going with Hellbringers, Stormcrows, and Timberwolves, Ravens, and of course Stalkers.
I always like these pauses. It gives us time to say what we want to say.
I really need to start grading these paint jobs, huh? Oh, somebody's doing a dance. He knows I'm here. He can feel it. Get a look inside.
I like this desert camo. They're all in that light camo tan over here on AS.
Well, yeah, let's check out AS. Let me get a look at it here. I do like that. They're actually going with real camo here. It's not that Hellbringer, but sure enough, same sort of setup right off the bat. They're gonna try it again. They're gonna get up here again, though. They really need to get more mechs up here and really spread out for this to work the way it should. Overlay doing it right? Did I leave that? Yeah, no. Okay. Nice strike. Look at that strike right in the middle. And you see them backing off. They cannot do this. They have to get up here. These mechs have to shift left. They've got to own this plateau right here. And they're doing it. They're moving up now. They're not surrendering now. Let's see how AS responds to this. Are they still going to peek? And if they do, are they going to get whacked? I can just turn.
Yeah, they're making the same mistake. They're still kind of in that same spot, taking a lot of damage, a lot of disruption from strikes. Meanwhile, AS is getting that wide angle on them.
Oh, look at that strike. Another nice one. Yeah, you see them behind each other, shooting through each other. This whole side is unused. They have to be over there. They have to spread out if they're going to win this trade. They cannot be over there like that. So Vorpal's sword has already gone down. The advantage is in AS's favor, including in terms of numbers. I see Direwolves cored out again.
Look at that wide fire line. They have a 360 angle.
And AS is...
Seraphim.
I was going to say AS is spread out even further. They've got Stormcrows all the way on the right here now. And the Raven 2X is all the way on the left. They have totally surrounded this position. They're getting hit from multiple sides. And now they're definitely... They know they're surrounded and they're having to redirect some of their fire. I think this is handily going to go AS's way. Although the Ravens are shifting down, Wolverines are just trading from a slightly different spot, but I don't think this is going to go Seraphim's way if they don't make a move here. AS getting down good strikes. GT Buck down to 43%. Wonka down to 41 in his Direwolf, 59 for Mad Edge in that Hellbringer. 1 is down for AS, but 3, 4, almost dead for Seraphim. Another one goes down, 2 more. Still, AS, 3 down. It's only 3-4 right now. This is a closer game than... I'm going to have to cycle through AS now. It looks like the Ravens are moving in from the side on AS, so now they're getting surrounded a little bit. They're having a little bit of problem dealing with the fire on the right side. Avatar of what goes down in his Hellbringer. This is becoming a more competitive game. It's 4-5, still in AS's favor.
Seraphim does have, I think, a 2-cap lead. You can't tell. Get into one here. No, they're 2-2 cap right now.
It's 2-2, AS slightly ahead. AS moving up. They're moving up and moving right because they know that these guys have dropped down the canyon. They're hoping they can isolate these Ravens or at least get a better position where they're not surrounded. All of the main group has died for Seraphim. Now it's just these guys down in the ditch and the Ravens. They've got some kiting ability, but I think this is definitely going to go AS's way. They're grouped up. They're pushing around the right.
Poor Schick. He just wanted to say hello.
Merc barely knows the world of pain he's about to be in.
Oh, if you saw this.
Yeah. If you are a real mech pilot, this is the time that you eject.
Here comes the hammer. Oh.
And it's just yellow 7.
Well, GG, Seraphim.
Yep. And Antares takes it. 3-0.
Look at those damage numbers between Alpha Lance. They're just very close together.
And those are those stalkers. You know, you see them just putting out a ton of damage. The Timberwolves still pulling their weight. You know, plenty of, you know, as much as they nerfed them, they still hold their own in that long range trade. Still the best trading heavy for long range. Stormcrow's also doing work, and of course the Ravens. You saw Kafiri, I think, get caught out with not a whole lot of damage. Don't know what happened there, but you know, you see that a lot happened for Seraphim, unfortunately. 59, 23, 46, you know, 163, 181. You just can't have those kind of numbers and really come back here. Again, I think they just made a repeat of that first game where they didn't own that plateau enough. And then they didn't really shift when AS sort of put people out on all the edges to get even more looks. I'm going to ask if they're going to play it out. Let's see.
I'm going to give a good trivia question for this one. Well, not going to be good.
Not good, just mind-numbingly difficult. That is the kind we want, because all of my trivia has been terrible, and no pants is not exactly the highbrowest of ways to do that. I guess we'll do a quick review in map tactic while I wait for an answer. I sort of guess they won't, but I can always hope.
By the way, give me permissions if you can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got
There you go.
permissions now.
Sure.
So, AS, once again in red, taking the same Delta 5 trading position. You've seen them take over and over. Some, again, rolling up here into Echo 4, and towards the later end of the fight, they got especially like their lights and their Wolverines over on this ridge also to trade. But, you know, this gap, you know, was not filled. They didn't move up. They didn't own it aggressively. I just think that AS was allowed to... They did take quite a few AS guys down. I just think that they needed to make better trades. When you own that spot, you really have to own it. There's no in-between. Towards the later end of the fight, AS kicked some guys out over there. They kicked their Ravens over here to put more pressure on from multiple angles, and it just never looked like it was going in Seraphim's way. Down towards the end, they had a couple of guys drop down and try to do some guerrilla action. Ravens over here to put pressure on AS, but it was just too little too late. I just think they lost that war at Echo 4 again.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw a wheel of cheese.
This is going to be good.
Most horriblest wheel of cheese that you'll ever see. Oh, what the hell? No! Where's my wheel of cheese? No, I didn't draw it. Damn it!
Yeah, it's because if you click on an already drawn line, it doesn't draw over it. It like clicks and drags. It's horrible. The interface on this thing is.
Okay, it looks like a Pac-Man actually.
Pac-Man is back.
Yes!
Yes.
Okay, so what you see here is the firing angle that AS had versus the firing angle or control of the angle that Seraphim had. Really, they can't really focus anywhere else. Let me clear this now. I just wanted to draw the Pac-Man, that's all. Anyway. Firing angle really is all concentrated towards Delta 5. There really isn't much else that you can concentrate the firepower on because the way the Echo 3, Echo 4 ridge is kind of lined up. I mean, they could fire towards Kappa, but there was no one there. In this position, and then when they have guys set up here for AS, and even one guy over here, in this position, it's a crossfire, but you still have some cover on your right edge from Echo 4. Let me put that in green dotted line. You have a little bit of cover here on your approach. But you have more firepower on Echo 4 aiming toward Delta 5. You have 3 Direwolves and Timberwolves and Hellbringers or whatever else that you have versus 3 Stalkers plus the Stormcrows, I think, at the time with AS had. And some of the heavies, but you have the firepower advantage. You have 3 direwolves sitting there. If you have a direwolf versus a stalker 1-to-1, the direwolf is going to win. They have that 82 point alpha. If they built it like I would build it, they have like an 87 point alpha versus the stalkers, which have 27 or 54 point alpha. Plus, you have the additional heat that the 54 alpha makes in the stalker. Remember, ISMX may be cooler, but if you stack that many large lasers, it's still going to provide a lot of heat. And they were nerfed, so that's double on that. The direwolves have that 50-some point alpha, plus the dual Gauss rifles when they have to cool down. You have more firepower aiming towards Delta 5. You have to push that advantage. They kind of just sat there in Echo 4 and traded. But they should have a little bit more of what's the word? Not ego. They should have more confidence in their play on Echo 4 and push it a little bit earlier. But I would have moved it differently. But in this case, if Seraphim did want to push the issue on Echo 4, they should have pushed earlier. They should have forced the stalkers down. And at that point, it would be lighter mechs versus heavier mechs. Those direwolves are just gonna outdo those stalkers like crazy. So, but anyway,
yeah, I agree that they probably could have pushed in there, and it's like, especially with those direwolves, the stalkers, sure, they got that cool shot, but once you run them over that, they're heat bound, whereas you could just keep firing those Gauss rifles all day in the direwolf, even if you're up against your heat limit. So they needed to do something up there in Echo 4 at the point where they were pretty much losing that trade battle. I feel like, I don't know, it was not executed as well as it needed to be, and once that happened, they needed to shift plans, maybe try something else. I mean, they had Wolverines and poking Ravens, so, what else can they really do? But, maybe get aggressive, maybe go over into Delta 4 and try to put fire on them from 2 directions. Something was needed to put pressure on AS, because once those direwolves are down, that's it.
Is this the last match that's on Tourmalet?
This is, well, unless there is, and I hope there is, a week 11, which is like if the winner of the elimination bracket beats the winner of the winner's bracket in the first finals. Since it's double elim, they have to then beat them again to really claim the victory. And so in that case, there will be week 11 and it will be on Tourmaline, and I really hope that happens.
No. Do you like Tourmaline that much? Do you want it
I
twice?
do. Well, because I was gonna have to do some map twice, or pick a shitty one. Like, what would you rather have, this again or Bog? You know, I chose the lesser of two evils. Terra Therma, no, God no.
Forest
Not
Colony.
Not a, I could do that, but oh God, jammed on that tiny map.
Put Bog in there and watch everyone go, "What the fuck? What are you doing, Bill?"
That would be truly heartbreaking. Well, I guess we might as well end this off and do some shout outs really quick. Let's see. I'm going to check my email really quick. Shout out to the people that followed or subscribed or whatever the hell happens on Twitch. Fluffy Bun Bun. That's a great name. I like that. MWO Silent Hunter. Twinkie Overlord. You weren't subscribed? What the hell? Vindicare. I want to say that's numerals that I never figured out, so I'm just not even gonna guess at what number that is. Caffey Angst, again, what the hell? Siri, what the hell? God, it's like I have no friends.
Magician was quick on this one. Actually answered the trivia question correctly.
What
the question was who is the most despised, trolliest company that haunts almost every BattleTech franchise with each release of new intellectual property in caps?
Oh, jeez. Could it be Harmony Gold?
Yes, it was Harmony Gold. The Magician was the first one to get it, so he gets the new mech bay. Congratulations, Magician. Not like you need it anymore, but
yeah, I was just gonna say, jeez. The 1% wins again. And the last guy is Lycurgus? Lycurgus? I don't know. You people pick weird names that I can't pronounce. Well, I made it Homeless Bill. You can't mispronounce that very easily. And let's see. Tina, PGI, thank you for the sponsorship, the advertising, all the other stuff. You know, I was bugging them earlier today about changing all of the cap points back to the proper names. So, like, Theta's always in the middle of the map. And allegedly, they're thinking about doing it. So, I'm going to keep the pressure up on that. And hopefully we'll see that happen. So, never again will we have to not know what the middle point is called. Thank you to Ed for being here. It's always a pleasure casting with you.
Well, I got to do Pac-Man on stream, so I have fulfilled my fill today.
That was it. That's all. That's what you came for, right?
No one sees the yellow penis either. That's just saying something.
Not yet. I'm sure they'll notice. I'm just waiting for it in chat. But thank you everybody for watching. Don't know about any of the week 7 matches yet. I will, post something on Outreach when those are scheduled. I will have all of these matches up with timestamps on my YouTube channel at some point, and I will do some sort of recap post on Outreach at the beginning of next week. So that's going to be it for us. Thank you for watching, and thank you to both teams for putting on a good show.